Hey y'all, welcome back, honey. Welcome back, child. Make sure you're coming into the video, you're liking it, you're also subscribing to the channel, please, and thank you. It's a few things I want us to get into, and you guys can tell from the thumbnail. More than likely, we're going to talk about Porsha Williams and this whole flight fiasco. We got to get into Usher and this lawsuit that he has going on, and we also got to talk about Nicki MAGA Minaj and her speech over at the UN. All right, but first up, let's get into Miss Porsha because with Porsha. Y'all know she had this incident that took place on a Delta flight and she was coming from Las Vegas to Atlanta. All right. I did check out one of the news stations and just to see if there's been any additional information of what's been going on. And it looked like there has been some additional information that has been released. And I'm going to capture that information from WSB TV. Now, they're saying that Portia Williams was escorted off of a flight on Sunday evening after an incident happened during her flight from Las Vegas to Atlanta. They're saying, according to a newly released statement from Atlanta Police Department, it said that Williams and her and another passenger, Williams and another passenger may have been involved in a verbal dispute that reportedly escalated into a physical dispute during an inbound flight to Atlanta. All right. They're saying both parties were separated on the scene and interviewed by officers. All right. So I'm wondering who this other person was. Now, if you let Portia Williams' attorney tell it, he says that she was verbally assaulted by an irate and unhinged passenger without provocation, right? That's what they are saying. And she feels like she should not be the person charged with anything. The other person should be, considering the fact that they made up false allegations and they were coming at her in so many words, right? So this is what's being reported. They are continuing to investigate the situation, so we'll have to see how this is going to play out. But I just wonder exactly what did the person say to Portia? What did they say? Did they say something about her being a home wrecker or something like that? Like, what was said to Portia that led to this whole verbal assaulting and getting physical with each other? Now, we did see video where Portia came off the flight, and Portia seemed to be fine. Like, I'm good. I'm good. Right? So, I mean, it didn't get too physical, but I just wonder, was it over a seat or something like that? Were y'all arguing over a seat? But let me tell you, sometimes when people are sitting behind you and they putting their feet up and doing all this extra stuff, that can cause a person to, want to get rowdy. Right? But when I hear the term false allegations saying that, the passenger made false allegations, I'm kind of like, what you mean by that? Was it related to just something that happened in that moment and she lied on you to, the flight attendants, or did they say something surrounding your like personal life that was not true and you needed to respond or whatever? But y'all let me know. Now, earlier that day, before all of this news came out about this whole situation with the federal or whatever, or maybe it was the day before, I guess Portia may have knew this information was going to come out. She did take to social media to put this particular post up where she talks about, like, I guess, like being depressed, right? She says, keep pushing. I thank God every day that I'm in my right mind and not only haven't lost my mind, lost myself, but I found and appropriate a better me. Leaving BravoCon, I'm filled with all the love and warmth and support from our beautiful fans. I just want to extend a thank you from the bottom of my heart for not only your prayers, but for being with me on this journey called life. I love me again and I love you all. Thank you, mommy, for being my backbone. Raw, real life, no more survival mode. We will thrive. We are kicking depression's ass. All right. So Portia is letting people know that, all these times you saw her looking glamorous and thriving and stuff, she was depressed. All right. A lot of depression is hiding behind smiles, right? So that is what Portia appears to be letting the people know, but it came out right before the news broke about this whole federal situation that took place right over there on the flight and stuff. So good luck to Portia, honey. Hopefully we don't see Portia in no cuffs or having no charges or anything on her from this situation, but they are still investigating. So I guess more is to come. All right. The next thing I want us to get into is Usher. China USHERRYMOND. Now, baby, tell me what you want to do with me. Listen, Usher don't really want to know what you want to do with him. He want to know what you want to do with his money. Because Usher is suing Brian Michael Cox amongst others, and y'all know Brian Michael Cox is a very well known producer. Okay, and when I think of my Brian Michael Cox, I'm thinking about two different things. One, I'm thinking about it's a beat cock joint, a beat Cox joint, and then I'm thinking about Chris Brown's song "Ding Winner." You ate that. You ate that, Brian Michael Cox. You ate that. You ate that up. Okay. You ate that up. And then the second thing I'm thinking about is when I ended up meeting him at a spot called Del Frisco's. He was a really nice guy. But aside from that, child, Usher is suing him. And not only is he suing him, he's suing some other associates, right? And their attorney as well over a loan he says that he gave them for a Buckhead restaurant that never opened. That never opened. They're saying Usher Raymond filed a lawsuit in Fulton County on Friday against Brian Michael Cox, Keith Thomas, Charles Hughes, and entertainment lawyer Alcid. I think that's how you say his name, Alcid Honoree. They're saying that Cox has produced some of Usher's biggest hits, including Burn and You Got It Bad. Right? They're saying Thomas and Hughes also work in the entertainment industry as well. And I'm just wondering how y'all were even able to convince Usher to give y'all as much money as he did. Huh? Because it appears that Usher gave them like 1 point something million dollars just to open up a restaurant that didn't open. Like, you better believe I'm gonna be suing y'all for even more than that because where my money, honey. All right. So Usher says the group came to him last year with the idea to open a restaurant and lounge called Homage ATL. The group looked to purchase a property at 3102 Piedmont Road in Buckhead, the former site of Ocean Prime, right? They're saying that the singer did not want to be an investor, but agreed to loan the group $1.7 million and wired it to a trust account in January. Baby, Usher got some money, baby. So let's keep going because see, y'all got a loan up out of Usher. So, anywho, months later, the property they're saying still has not been purchased over the summer. Usher asked for the loan to be repaid. He received $1 million in August, but said he hasn't received the remaining balance of $700,000. Now, Usher, you probably could have waited a little piece. They done gave you $1 million. Shout out to them for giving you your $1 million back. And I know you want your 700,000 right now. So let me tell you, it's my money and I want it now. And I can't really fault Usher for that. It's his money. He wants his money right now. And you know what? I would much rather take the 1 million first versus you just giving me damn 700,000. Now, granted, I also understand him feeling like, listen, I gave you 1.7. I gave you that up front. Hello? Why I gotta just get a piece of my money back if y'all ain't make no moves and if nothing has opened? If you ain't open no restaurant, then none of my money should have been touched or moved. And I'm with him. Give me my 1.7. Hello? So Usher's lawsuit accuses Honoree, who is the attorney, of admitting that giving the money back was not that easy because it had been used for other purposes. Baby, why you saying that? We appreciate your honesty, but y'all done sat up here and said his money was used for other things and that it was not easy to give him his money back. It should have been very easy because what did y'all use it for? What did y'all use it for? What other things needed to be paid? Like hiring another attorney, hiring some people in real estate. Like what else was it used for? So this what Usher said, right? Usher said, that's fine. How about y'all go ahead and give me that 4.9 million in damages? Usher loaned y'all $1.7 million last year. Didn't make a movement on nothing. Y'all gave this man $1 million back and said it wasn't easy to give it back to him because you used it for something else. Still owe this man 700,000, right? So now the lawsuit is requesting $4.9 million in damages, and they're saying it's $700,000 for each of the 7 claims in the lawsuit. Woo! And then, I would have been upset too. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't even gonna hold you. I would have been mad to see Usher. You got it. You got it. You got it bad and you got it right. Because listen, don't come and tell me that it wasn't easy for you to give me my fucking money when it was very easy for me to give you the 1.7. But here's the flip too. It's like if you gotta loan the money to the people, it's like you already know their ass ain't got it. I already know they ain't got it. But y'all sold Usher on a little piece of an idea. I guess he didn't want to be an investor, but he loaned y'all the money to help y'all out, right? But I also feel like this. I do believe Usher probably gave him a heads up. I'm gonna give y'all this money. If y'all don't give me this money back by a certain time, I'm gonna go and give y'all a heads up. I don't want nobody to be surprised. I'm gonna sue y'all ass. And if I gotta sue you, it's gonna come with interest. They probably thought Usher was bluffing. They probably thought that man was playing with them. But I'm willing to believe that Usher he gave them that heads up that they probably was gonna be sued. They probably didn't know when he was gonna file the lawsuit, right? He probably been asking for his money and y'all just not giving him his damn $1 million. And he probably like, I'm not gonna play, because ain't no telling how long he been asking. He probably been asking for his damn money since January. Or a year from the time that he gave them the money and they finally gave him $1 million, and it could have took months for him to get that. And he probably like, well, shit, if it took months just for me to get that, then I ain't finna waste no more time with you. Let's go ahead and run this through courts, and you're gonna have to pay me more than that $700. I tried to help y'all out, right? Child, that's crazy. Now listen, Brian Michael Cox ended up taking to social media where he wanted to put a message out regarding this situation. So we're gonna get into that. All right. So this is what Brian Michael Cox had to say. First of all, he put a slide up of photos of him and Usher. All right. He goes on to say, I've learned a lot. He says, I've learned a lot recently about being careful with who you choose to invest in a failed deal that I didn't orchestrate. And while the situation has been disappointing, I know my name will be cleared by both sides. It's just unfortunate that its clarity didn't come sooner. Right. He says, my legal team has also advised me of a lawsuit involving a company where I am only a passive minority shareholder. I was not a participant in that business transaction and have no involvement in the ongoing legal process. While I'm unable to share more details right now, I want to make one thing absolutely clear. My 27-year friendship with Usher remains fully intact. I know that's right. And honestly, I could tell that's what was going on when he posted this. When I saw this, I said, oh, he let him know, like, hey, we good. It ain't no hard feelings. At least that's how I was looking at it. Like, okay, you suing me, but it ain't no hard feelings, right? But now he's saying that it was some shady business going on that even he wasn't, I guess, aware of. And so, whatever Usher doing what he got to do. In my head, I'm also thinking about how Usher probably, like I said, Usher probably gave him a heads up and told him what was going on. He probably talked to B Cox, and B Cox said, do what you got to do, man. He just gives that type of vibe, like, do what you gotta do, it's okay, like, it's cool. And yeah, so he says, no matter how small the investment, he says, I've learned a lot recently about being careful with who you choose to invest in with a business, no matter how small the investment. He ends it by saying, I appreciate everyone who has reached out with concern. Thank you for the love, the patience, and the understanding. All right, so that is what B Cox has to say about it. Him and Usher are still a-okay, they're good at this time. Let him tell it. But Usher still did not remove that name up off that lawsuit. Okay. But hopefully he can get his name removed. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know. Y'all let me know. Usher was well within his right to get that money though. So I can't even be mad at him for that. So y'all leave y'all thoughts on that. Next up I want to get into Nicki. Nicki Minaj has been very vocal about her support for Trump. I do think it's a situation where a lot of people should not be surprised because I do feel like Nicki often um goes against, I guess, what's popular, I suppose, or whatever. So she's been on her Kanye West, as many people have said, and they have not been wrong. And she spoke out about the Christians being slaughtered and stuff, right? And so when she spoke out about that, of course, she started getting recognition from some of the Republicans and stuff like that. And they've been, it's just been crazy, girl. They've been, in support of her, whatever the case is. So she gets the opportunity to go over there and speak regarding the situation that has happened. A lot of Nigerians have had opposing opinions to the narratives that's been put out there. I've been seeing over on Twitter. But let us go ahead and just hop in and just see what Nicki had to say down here to the USN. I'm sorry, to the UN.
Thank you, Ambassador Waltz, for this invitation. It is an honor to stand on this stage with you and the other distinguished speakers here today to shine a spotlight on the deadly threat faced by thousands of Christians in Nigeria. I would like to thank President Trump for prioritizing this issue and for his leadership on the global stage in calling for urgent action to defend Christians in Nigeria, to combat extremism, and to bring a stop to violence against those who simply want to exercise their natural right to freedom of religion or belief. I stand here as a proud New Yorker with a deep sense of gratitude that we live in a country where we can freely and safely worship God regardless of one's creed, background, or politics. No group should ever be persecuted for practicing their religion, like I recently stated on social media. And we don't have to share the same beliefs in order for us to respect each other.
Okay, I'm gonna have to end it right there. We don't have to share the same beliefs for us to respect each other. With all the disrespect that's been going on from your direction on Twitter is crazy. However, I want us to get into what some of her supporters had to say. Some, just fans in general, right? Then we're gonna tap into what Amanda Seals had to say about the matter, as well as Tamika Mallory. And we'll wrap this video up so that you guys can leave your thoughts and comments about the matter. In the comments, right? So let's check out what one of her supporters had to say here.
To quickly thank Ms. Nicki Minaj for bringing awareness to what's going on to Nigeria about Christian persecution. She spoke at the United Nations. This is awesome. And I also just want to say this, right? It's so important to bring awareness to what's going on to Christians who are being targeted and killed for their faith in Jesus Christ. And when I look at Nicki Minaj and what she's doing, she's using her platform, she's using her voice to bring awareness to what's going on. Although it is biblical prophecy that Christians will be targeted and killed, it doesn't mean that we just stand back and do nothing. Right? Like, we should come together and still call upon the Lord and say, Father, give us mercy. Father, forgive us for our sins. Father, give us more time. Because that's all we need. We need a little bit more time to bring people back to the kingdom of God. We need a little bit more time to pray over those that we want their hearts to change and their minds to change, right? We need a little bit more time to pray over those who are targeting and killing Christians. They can also be saved. Hey, let's go there. The terrorists who are targeting Christians, they can also be saved. We need more time. So when I see Nicki Minaj do this, I realize, wow, we don't have to just stand back and do nothing, right? We can use our voice, we use our platforms to bring awareness to what's going on and ask the Lord, Father, please grant us mercy. This happens in the Bible. Like, you want to talk about biblical prophecies? Well, you can also say that Moses asked the Lord for grace. He said, Father, please do not strike the children of Israel. And God removed his hand. Look at Jeremiah. Look at Isaiah. Look at Elijah. Father, please give us mercy. Give us a little bit more time. He removed his hand. Like, you don't have to just stand back and watch Christians get slaughtered. Just because it's prophesied that this will happen. We can stand up. We can ask the Lord for strength. We can ask the Lord for help. It's just, oh my gosh, but I'm just so grateful for Nicki Minaj. Thank you so much for using your voice to bring awareness to what's going on to the Christians who are being persecuted and killed for their faith in Jesus Christ.
All right, let's go ahead and get into another person, someone else that has some things to say.
Nicki Minaj joined the Trump administration at the United Nations to speak about what she believes is the unaliving of Christians in Nigeria. Now, Nicki Minaj aligning with the Trump administration should not really surprise anyone. I mean, Nicki has been Kanye West in a pink wig on Twitter for a very long time. And the one thing that I will give Nicki in this conversation is I believe that she believes that this thing is happening, and she believes that she is standing up for people who are being persecuted. Now, I can then take a step back from that empathy space and go, you are severely misinformed as to the nuance of what is happening in Nigeria, number one. Because what is happening in Nigeria is a series of conflicts in which people are, in many ways, whether it's terrorist groups or different community groups, are having these interpersonal conflicts. And some of them do align themselves with the Christian church, but also those same groups are also having conflicts with other groups of Muslims where there have been unalivings. And so it is reductionist to just say it's a targeted Christian attack, while at the same time you can say that there are Christians who are being attacked. I've long said that Christianity has a built-in persecution complex, and I also think that there is like a ho to holy pipeline that absolutely exists in Black church spaces. I can't believe I just said that out loud. Like, holy is crazy. And this is where the nuance of the conversation about wanting celebrities to participate in political discourse really gets going. Because on the one hand, I think it's very important that we recognize that celebrities are not coming to save us. No one is. It is up to us to do the work every single day to ensure that we are fighting against fascism. And at the same time, I do think it's important that when celebrities are participating in this discourse, that they're doing so from an informed perspective. Because to me, there's nothing worse than a celebrity who is using their platform, which is usually very large, and spreading some sort of disinformation or misinformation that they are then seen as an expert in because they made good music. Which is where we do land in the was silence not an option space for some folks. There are also some folks who are really good at creating artistic expressions about things that are happening, but not good about talking about things that are happening. But ultimately, I can kind of predict what's going to happen is that at some point in the next several weeks, Nicki will start beefing with somebody who's involved with the Trump administration, and then she'll declare that she was hoodwinked and she was just trying to stand up for Christians the whole time. Like, this cycle is a tale as old as time. Once again, see Kanye West circa 2019. But at least for today, she went to the United Nations. She pulled up in the monster automobile gangster with a bad chick that came from Sri Lanka. Yeah, she's in the Tonka color of Willy Wonka. You could be the king. Now watch it. No, I'm playing. Thanks.
Yeah, that's crazy. So let's go ahead and get into more because this is where Amanda Seales came out and she has some things to say about Nicki going over to speak. So let's get into this.
Nicki Minaj working with Trump admin on plight of Christians in Nigeria. Either she's getting a check or she was MAGA the whole time, or she's genuinely thinks that she's doing something good, which, by the way, is why y'all need to have...
Pause, okay? Because it's giving all three for me, all right? It's giving getting a check in my personal. It's giving, of course, MAGA all along, like, hello. And then also, she probably do think that she doing some good. Yeah.
Which, by the way, is why y'all need to have people around you that know more than you. And by y'all, I don't just mean celebrities. Everybody. Everybody should have people around them that they can consult with, that think differently than you, that hold you in a place of values. Just so you understand what's happening here with the plight of Christians in Nigeria, there is a plight of Christians in Nigeria. However, the U.S., what does that have to do with the United States? The United States is using this as a ploy, as a proxy, to find their way into Nigeria so that they can then find their way into the Sahel states of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, who, as you know, are coming together to begin a process of Pan-Africanism on the continent. They are taking back their resources from France. They are saying we are going to build our own infrastructures. This undermines the global empire's goal, and so they have to try and shut it down. Now, we saw earlier this year with AFRICOM and that coon, that general who tried to say, oh, you know, they got some problems going down in Burkina Faso. They're continuing to try to make this happen the same way that they're making fetch happen in Venezuela right now. When do we stop allowing ourselves to be used?
We're going to fight with solidarity.
Listen to your people.
Because I hit hard. Billionaires are the only minority we should be scared of.
All right. So that is what Amanda had to say, y'all. Let us go ahead and get into more because, like I said, Tamika Mallory came out and she says, for the record, Nicki Minaj may not realize it yet, but aligning with the DT and his evil plans has consequences. As he turns his attention to Nigeria, there will be exploitation. Okay. She says resource theft and innocent Nigerians will likely be harmed, I guess is what she's trying to say. She says Trump has a pattern. He uses black culture for cover while pushing policies that hurt black people here and abroad. Unfortunately, that sister will be tied to the harm, and history will remember who stood beside him. That's crazy. Listen, child. History will definitely remember, child, and so will karma. So listen, that's pretty much all that we have on today. You guys can leave your thoughts and comments down below on how you're feeling about, this Porsha situation and her, getting into it with somebody on this plane. Usher suing for his 1.7 million plus for his money back, and also Nicki Minaj speaking on behalf of Christians and supporting them over in Nigeria. All right. And Amanda Seals and Samantha Mallory, amongst a lot of other individuals, being totally against all of that. So not all of that, but more so her being a part of the Trump agenda to go overseas and talk and all of that. Leave your thoughts and comments down below. I'm Jamie, that's me. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Bye.
Tell him I preach to the choir. Stand with my feet to the fire. Give all the glory to God. Stand in the midst of these haters, I'm silent, nobody can stop me. Just gotta check in my notification, them numbers hit like it's a proxy. Cash died at the ATM, and the ATL, they done made a gym. I've been kicking doors like the ATF, got them trying to clone me like Aegis. Game time, I invaded gym. High elevated, I could face the rim. Putting shots up, I got laser focus, about to take it over. I'm Invader Zim, on a trip to Florida like it's A&M. Who that nigga, man, they say I'm him. Spit the truth, never wasted film, I can fill a pool, we go